Hey everybody, Rob here at eTrailer.com. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Roadmaster Quick Disconnect Crossbar that goes on to our crossbar style base plate. Now this is going to be a replacement item, so if you've already had a crossbar, maybe you're missing some of the pins, maybe it got damaged, this is going to be a great replacement for that. But at the same time, if you got a crossbar style base plate and you're new to towing, depending on what tow bar you picked up, it may or may not come with the crossbar, but it is going to be required if you're using this style base plate. Now it's a really simple process to get hooked up and to use it. We're simply just going to have a couple pins on top that's going to hold the crossbar to the base plate, and then we'll have some larger pins right here which are actually going to be the attachment point for our tow bar. Simply just remove the pins, the tow bar would slide in here and secure it down on each arm like this. And it is a really quick, easy way to disconnect. We'll have these two pins on top. Once we have our tow bar unhooked, we can remove these pins, lift up on the bar, and easily remove it so that we can get the arms pulled out of our base plate and have a nice clean look on the front of our Fiat. Now the crossbar is going to come with all the brackets and hardware that's going to be mounted onto the tow bar arm itself, and it's extremely easy to put on. Just a few bolts on each arm and getting everything lined up so it goes on smoothly. In fact, let's go and show you how to bolt everything up and how to get all the settings right. So our quick disconnect is going to come with the bar as well as the brackets to get everything installed. Now it is going to go on just like the original one since this is a replacement. So we can go ahead and pull the pins out of the top here. Just lift it open, pull the pin out, and that'll allow the bracket to come off the back of it. And we want to do that on each side because we're actually going to be bolting these to our base plate. Now these are labeled, so you want to make sure you grab the correct one. So on the passenger side of the car, make sure you grab the passenger side bracket. But then once we have the bracket, we want to grab, there's going to be a little plate with two holes in it. It's going to go right on the front of the bracket. I'm going to line up with the two holes. You want to grab two of the bolts out of your kit, go through that plate and through the bracket. We can line it up on our base plate. Should hold itself there just like that. We can grab a flat washer for each one of the bolts. We're going to follow that up with a split lock washer. And then finally, we're going to secure it down with a hex nut. Now at this point, we just want to get them snug, just hand tight. We don't want them to be really tight yet because we will have to make a few adjustments, and we need to be able to slide that bracket left and right so we can get a nice snug fit with the crossbar. That's going to be the same combination of hardware for the other side, so we'll go ahead and get that in place and get the other bracket on the driver's side. So now we can grab the actual crossbar itself, and you'll notice on the bottom we're going to have these kind of a nub sticking out. That's going to fit right into the center hole of each one of the brackets, but then at the same time on the top we're going to have a hole that the piece is going to come through the top that's already on the bracket. So that's why we need those adjustments. So we want to line up the holes, but then on the other side you may have to kind of slide because you can see ours isn't perfectly lined up. So one side went in, just need to slide that bracket over so we can get it to go in. And then we want to make sure that it's centered on our car as close as we can. So you just kind of look and we can adjust it left and right. And once you get your bracket in place, you kind of want to snug these nuts down as best you can. Now obviously the bolt is probably going to be spinning a little bit on the other side. We don't need it to be extremely tight, but we want it to be snug to where it won't move that much on us. And once we have it nice and snug, you want to test fit the bar, make sure you can easily remove it and put it back in place and it's not getting stuck or binding up. Once you're comfortable that the bar is going on easily, sliding, coming out, we're going to remove the bar and we're going to fully tighten these bolts. But you do want to be careful not to move that bracket around when you're tightening it up. I'm going to use a 19mm socket and wrench to tighten these up, but you can also use a 3/4 inch socket and wrench as well. I'm going to use the wrench on the back end to hold the nut in place. We'll go to the other side and tighten those as well. Now we want to grab the crossbar again, make sure nothing moved on us and that the bar can still go into place. You can see ours is a little bit tight, so we may need to loosen those bolts up, make some very, very minor adjustments. But the main goal is that you can easily put the crossbar over the base plate and take it off easily. We don't want it to bind up, kind of like how it's doing now. It's a little bit, one of these probably just needs to move just a little bit. So we're going to loosen those bolts up, make sure it's nice and easy to put on and take off. Once you have it adjusted, you're going to want to take a torque wrench and torque your hardware down to the specified amount in the instructions. I'm going to make sure you repeat that for all the hardware on both of the brackets. Then you can put your crossbar back on. Make sure to put in the retaining pins and go all the way through that top. Make sure it fully latches onto the pin itself. But again, I'm Rob here at eTrailer.com. That'll finish up your look at the Roadmaster Quick Disconnect Crossbar on our 2012 Fiat 500.